Anybody wants to become an architect?
Yes. Yeah, so now I'm gonna tell you, you probably wonder why are these people here and who are they, right? So we're here because once upon a time we were little just like you. And when we were little, we didn't know anything about the word architecture. Have you heard the word architecture before? Yeah? Good. All right. So, and we didn't know anything. You know more than me and Marcos.
Yeah.
And all right, because we didn't know anything about that. All right. So you guys know anything about builders too? Bob the Builder, maybe you've heard of that, right? Excellent. Excellent. So we happen to be very special because we were the architects for this very space that you guys are in, with all the colors, all the paint, of course with Kelly as part of the process, and we design all of this so that this can be possible. So it's interesting because you guys are in that space and you're meeting architects, probably some of you for the first time, and our mission is to inspire all of you in one way or another so that you learn a little bit about architecture and maybe you all can become an architect one day. What about that?
Yeah.
So we have some books that we have signed and written a nice message for all of you, and we're gonna be reading the book. Well, we're gonna read one of the books and we're gonna leave some of those books for you guys. We also have some 3D models of projects that we have done, and we're gonna pass them around so you guys can take a look at it. How does that sound?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if you guys can all see the book right here that we're gonna read. You can see it. So we're gonna try to make it fun. So me, Marcos, and Rai are all going to be reading a little page, and I'm gonna be moving it through, and we're gonna be reading the book. The book's called Iggy Peck Architect. Everybody says Iggy Peck Architects. All right. So
All right.
yeah, you can start. You can start.
Juan, do you want to read too?
Do you guys want to read in English or Spanish?
Let's do it with English, and then maybe we can do it in Spanish after. Okay? English first. You have it in English?
Yeah, I can start.
All right, pay attention, guys.
All right, I'm gonna start, guys.
All right. So.
Young Iggy Peck is an architect and has been since he was 2, when he built a great tower in only an hour with nothing but diapers and glue. Good gracious, Ignatius, his mother exclaimed, "That's the coolest things I've ever seen." But her smile faded fast as a light wind blew past, and she realized those diapers weren't clean.
Ooh, the diapers
Not
were not
good.
clean. Marco, you can go with the next one.
Ignatius, my son,
Oh.
what on earth have you done? That's disgusting and nasty. It stinks. That's the mother. But Iggy was gone. He was out on the lawn using dirt clods to build a grayish statue. When Iggy was 3, his parents could see his unusual passion would stay. He built churches and chapels from peaches and apples, and temples from modeling clay. These are the
Temples from Mars.
He was already building since he was a kid, just like you guys sometimes do when you play.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
So Marco's gonna continue with the next one right here.
Right. So then, at dinner one night, to his father' delight, Iggy got a bright gleam in his eye, and out on the porch built the St. Louis Arch from pancakes and coconut pie, as you guys can
With
see.
pancakes, he built a whole arch right there.
Dear Ig had it made until 2nd grade when his teacher was Miss Lila Gear. On the very first day, she had this to say: "We do not talk of buildings in here." Oh,
I
wow.
want to talk about buildings.
No. Gothic or Romanesque, I couldn't care less about buildings, ancient or new. She said in her lecture about architecture that it had no place in grade 2. Oh, that's not good. That might seem severe, but she was sincere. For when she was no more than 7, she had a great fright at a dizzying height in a building so tall it scraped heaven, as you can see in the image.
Right there, right?
On an architect's tour of the 19th floor, young Lila got lost from the group.
Okay. She got lost from the group in the building, guys. You guys can show it. And then she was found 2 days later. Wow, the building was so big. She was found 2 days later, stuck in an elevator, eating cheese with a French circus troupe. After that day, it's quite safe to say she thought all building lovers were nuts. They thought that we were crazy. As a teacher, she taught that above all, one have to avoid buildings. No ifs and no arts and no buts. So she didn't want anything to do with buildings because she was scared. All right? As you might guess, it would cause Iggy a stress to hear such terrible talk because Iggy liked buildings, right, guys? So, but he didn't hear. He sat in the rear while building a castle of shock. He kept building because that's what he liked, right? So he kept doing more. So then the teacher says, "You, Iggy Peck, your desk is a wreck. Tear down that castle right now. You will not build in here. Is that perfectly clear? Do you need to see Principal Hall?" Ooh, no, no, no. You can keep reading the next one. No, keep reading. Okay, let's keep going with it.
We're almost there.
Then he said, "No, ma'am," Iggy said. He lowered his head and his heart sank down to the floor. With no chance to build, his interest was killed. Now second grade was a bore.
Ooh.
Sad. After 12 long days that passed in a haze of reading, writing, and arithmetic, Miss Greer took the class to Blue River. As for a hike and an old-fashioned picnic.
Oh, picnic. Oh.
They crossed an old trestle to a small island in the heart of a burbling stream, but they no sooner passed than the footbridge collapsed.
Oh, you guys see that? The bridge collapsed and they were gonna go there. What do we do?
Here, oh my! Alice kids goodbye. Her eyeballs rolled back in her head. She dropped to the ground with a big groaning sound.
Oh, wow.
The class was amazed. They stood there quiet, dazed, uncertain of what they should do. For one bright young man was off hatching a plan, which started with Mrs. Lila's shoes. Soon each lad and lass there at Blue River Pass was working together as one.
Oh, they were working together. What did they do, guys?
No way.
I'm gonna need this one. All right, look at this. And then I'm gonna pass it to you, Marcos.
Okay.
So you can show it to them, so they can, yeah. So, and when she came to, Miss Lila Girl knew that something quite brave had been done. What was done, guys? What was built? Anybody knows what they built? No, it looks like a bridge, though. They needed to cross by, right? You see it? All right. So then she says, she looked in the air and saw hanging there a structure with cables and braces, and on the far side, beaming with pride, were 17 smiling young faces. Look at the faces of them. Happy there. Bush tree roots and strings, fruit roll-ups and thins, some of which one should not mention, were stretched, ridge to ridge, in a glorious bridge, dangling from hustling suspension. Oh, a suspension bridge. Marco, you can continue there.
All right.
Oh, look what they built, guys. Look.
Wow, that's pretty big. It all became clear to Miss Lila Gear as she crossed that bridge over the stream. There are worse things to do when you are in grade 2 than to spend your time building a dream.
Oh.
And then we go, should we do it all together or?
All right, so we're going to read this part all together, the count of 3. So, 1, 2, 3.
Now every week,
at Blue River Creek, elementary in second grade, all the school kids can hear along with Miss Greer how the world's greatest buildings were made. The weekly guest speaker, in t-shirt and sneakers, talks of buildings from Rome to Quebec. Of course, he's the guy who builds towers from high. That brilliant young man is Iggy Peck. Woo!
That's it. Oh, wow. Yeah.
So one person that you're reading. So raise your hands who wants it in Spanish. All right. So we're gonna have Miss Rai. She's going to read it in Spanish to all of you. Okay?
Just a little, please.
Just a couple of pages. Okay?
Yeah, that was very nice.
So you guys got to listen a little story. So I want to ask you a couple of questions about the story. So what was the kid's name in English?
Raise your hands.
Raise your hand. What was his name? What was the name I asked you to repeat with me at the beginning? Iggy Peck Architect, right? Yeah, Iggy Peck Architect. And in the Spanish version, his name was Pedro. Pedro Perfecto, okay? And what did he like to do? Anybody tell me what he liked to do? Buildings, right? He liked buildings. Good job. And the teacher didn't like it, right? The teacher wasn't happy about it. But then he saved it, right? As a team, okay? So you guys now know that architects build things and resolve problems, right? We solve problems all the time. So now, why don't we have Mr. Marcos tell you a little bit about what he does as an architect at the office? What do you guys think? Huh?
Yeah, why not? Right? So as an architect, first you need to know what the problem is. So if you want a house, then you will come to us, and then we will create little drawings similar to this.
We're gonna pass them around for you.
We're going to pass it to you guys so you can draw. So this is a project that we did. And then after we have it in paper like this,
Everybody's gonna have a copy, so no problem, okay?
yeah, don't worry. We also created models like this to show the client how it will look like in the future. So I'm gonna just show you this around so you guys can see it. Be careful with the model. But this is basically like if it was a house, right? Imagine yourself, you see the house, and then that's where you park, and then you go inside the house, and that's the door. You see? So now why so how is this called again? What did I said? It's a house, but it's also a model. It's a model. It's basically
the house. It's a sample of what the house will look like. Right?
Yep. So here you can see how it will. How imagine yourself like sitting over there in the deck and enjoying life and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
And then there is another example here of another project.
Oh, look at this. This is a big one.
Look at this. So this is not one level. This is multiple levels.
Multiple floors. You guys see
Yep.
it?
And then
Wow.
check this
And
out.
I think it lights up.
I know. Are you guys
You
ready?
think it lights up?
Are you guys ready?
Who wants to see it light up?
Who wants? Oh,
Look at
we got
that.
lights. That
That's
looks
pretty
good.
cool. I will turn it on. Turn it back on.
So that's what Marcos does,
Yeah,
right?
you
Like
see
some of
that?
the things Marcos does.
For the night.
Exactly, as
Yeah.
a light maybe, right?
Yeah.
Very good.
So
Very
you see
good.
those little figurines? Those are people. So then you can see
Push back a little
how
so that
big-
everybody
yeah,
can see.
everybody can see it.
Okay? And we can pass it around carefully, okay?
Yep. Very careful.
Sit down if you
So
want to see the
everybody can
model and
see
touch
it.
the model.
Okay. Let me pass it over here so you can see it. You see it? Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so who knows what an architect does?
So now you know a little bit now? Yeah?
Yeah. It does glow in the dark.
So we do drawings,
Yeah.
we do models, right?
Yeah.
We design homes,
Yeah.
right?
Buildings.
We design all kinds of buildings, okay?
All right.
All right. I'll tell you one reason why we first do drawings. You know why we do drawings? Because you can make a lot of mistakes in drawings and that's okay.
Yeah.
But you cannot make mistakes when the real building is built, right? Because what if it falls? That's not good, right? So we want to make sure it stands very strong. We also do engineering, calculations so that it stays strong. Right, what do you do as an architect at the office? What do you do?
I'm a designer. I also design buildings. You have houses, right? You live.
Everybody
with your
lives in a
family.
house? Yeah?
Did you like your house?
Yeah.
So that's great. So an architect, a designer, and designer make your house so you feel happy. You have a dinner table with nice windows, so that it's a place that you love and feel happy. So that's what we do. We like to talk to the client and they tell us what they like, their family. So we make sure they have a happy place, a happy house that everybody loves.
That's right. So everything that you see around you is architecture. Can you believe that? Everything, every building, every structure is architecture. So whenever you go around with your mom and dad says, I learned about architecture and that building is architecture, that building is architecture, okay? So Juan, what do you do at work too? Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, I do the design of the architecture, and then just imagine you have the family favorite pet or family animation, so you want to live with the people, so you can imagine the house you live together. That is your design in your mind, right? And then you want to make it come true, then you need to draw it, and then you need to like try to model it, and then just get to how to say it? Just build it, and then you have your dream. Your dream is come true, right?
Oh, wow.
And then you can live with your favorite pet, your favorite people, or somewhere else.
Exactly. And Mr. Juan came all the way from China to talk to you. That's a long trip. All right. So should we listen to Juan whenever he's talking? Yeah. Yeah. All right. So now you've seen a little bit, but I haven't told you what I do as an architect. I do other things. I don't know. I'm not only the one that is drawing and designing all of these things. I am in between with the clients, the building inspectors, the different communities, so that we get them approved. And we hold something called a license. You see, guys, this? I'm going to pass it around. This is my license to be able to practice as an architect. You have heard of driver's license for cars? Yeah, there's airplane pilot license too. There is a license for almost anything in the United States. Isn't that right? So, in order to practice architecture, you have to have one of these licenses. So quietly you can pass it around and you can all take a look at it. You can pass it around, pass it around. So I talk to inspectors from the city, right? I speak with the customers, the clients, right? I speak with the builders, and we work as a team. You guys work as a team too here? Yeah? So we work as a team to make sure that. Here you go. So you guys look at it. It's a license. Let me tell you a little secret. I didn't see a license until I was about 27 years old. You guys are already ahead of me for architecture. That's what that looks like. Who wants to know what we need to do to become an architect? You want to know? All right, so let me tell you a little bit. So Marcos, why don't you start with you?
Yeah, why not? So first you have to finish school. So elementary school and high school and all of that. Then you go to college, and then college you can just finish your career in architecture. Some people don't do architecture, some people do interior design, some people are engineers. So there are different levels, but within the same field. But if you want to become an architect, you then need to finish college first and then do some.
So then after you finish college, and now actually you can do it while you are in college.
Yeah.
You can begin getting you hours of experience. Yeah. It is about 3,000 hours. That's a lot of hours, right?
Yeah.
Oof. But there is about 3,000 hours that you have to do, and then you also have to take 6 architecture exams. Everybody say 6 architecture exams. 6, show me 6. 6. All right? You also have to, the hours that you do, you work with an architect so that you can gain that experience, okay? And after you pass the exams, what's next? Anybody knows? You can talk to the state, get the state to approve your license, and the state where you live is the one that gives you the license. And then you can be an architect like Iggy Peck architect. All right? Now, anybody has any questions? Yeah, you have a question? Yeah, tell me.
The architect has to make sure the buildings need to do more construction work.
That's right. So they have to be structurally sound, they have to stand, and we do all that. But we are a team, we work all together, all right? Yeah, you have a question there?
when you don't have a car, you have to use a bus.
Oh, really? So one thing, so when you get that license that you guys see there, you also get a stamp. Who likes stamps? Who wants to get their hand stamped? Wouldn't that be fun? So we're going to have your hands, if that's okay with you and your moms, with a little stamp, okay? And it's gonna have the architect's license. And that's important because at the end of every project, we put our stamp. So think about this. The stamp is really like your logo of the fact that you've done something responsibly. You've done the very best that you could do. It's like your signature. It's like your name, right? So everybody is gonna get a little bit of a stamp. And Rai has a question here.
I have a question, guys. We haven't told you what's the most important part of being an architect or anything that you want to become in life. Anybody? Can
Anybody?
answer?
What's the most
What's
important?
the
That's a
most
big one.
important part? The most important part. Anybody?
All right, let's
So,
see. What
the
is
most
it?
important part, you have to love what you do.
That's right.
You have to be happy. You have to have fun. And then everything will be easier. And that's why we have all these beautiful buildings that everybody likes. And they're functional, right? You like where you study here. It looks nice. It's functional. Everybody's happy. Everybody's learning. So what's the most important part of being an architect?
You have to have passion and love what you do.
You have to love what you do.
You have to love what you do. Oh, of course, because who's going to sit down and cut all these beautiful models if they didn't love it, right? Who will be sitting down and drawing all of these things if they didn't love it, okay? So we got the stamp, right? We got the license, right? We've seen all those parts, and very important. And guess what? If lucky, and if you work consistently, you can win awards, get recognized, and change the entire world one building at a time. Imagine that. As a matter of fact, on this same street, we already have 2 buildings that we worked on. There's one down the street and another one in here. That's a lot, right? In Dorchester, we've done entire neighborhoods.
Does anybody wants to become an architect?
Yes.